Weiter. Erev Sukkot, Erev Sukkot. Let's wait for the Geula. Let's hope it's coming right now. Shabbos Daf Kuf Yud Gimel Amud Aleph towards the bottom of the page after the Mishnah. We're going to discuss today the very interesting topic of what you're allowed to say on Shabbos, how you're allowed to walk on Shabbos, etc. All these Shabbos Hanogas. Yeah. Before that, we'll discuss folding garments, folding clothes on Shabbos. Bezos Hashem, let's daven that we'll get everything right, clear. Says the Heilige Gemara. I'm with the Veil Biyana. I'm starting from the Gemara because last year in the Mishnah, the Mishnah said, "Mekaplin is a kelim, afil avachamisha pomim." Person is allowed to take kelim that are crumpled already, that are wrinkled. Think of something really wrinkled, and when you stretch it, yeah, it kind of almost you stretch it and then you fold it tight and nice. It kind of makes it look fresh, new, more, crisp, yeah, than its former the shape or shapeless shape. So that is allowed. However, there are many exceptions to the rule. And before we even continue, I'll tell you that the chashash is that it looks as if you are metaken mona. Niren ki metakenin. There is an isra metaken mona doraisa, and that is when you're really doing makabeh patish or boine. You're fixing, you're creating a kli. When you are, it looks as if you are improving the state of the kli significantly, yeah, that too is mechzi and it's also the rabbanon. When you have the crumpled up thing, I'll tell you a question which is Nagal Alocha before we even start the sugya. The sugya is not so long even, but let's say someone's hat, like more like a Litvish hat, a softer kind of hat, like a Bersalino, somebody sat on your head on Shabbos. Now I want to reshape it. Many people allow it, but not everyone. Apparently, I saw B'Shem B'Sin Abashol. I'm not a posek here. I'm just saying that it could be also because you're reshaping the head, right, which was all crumbled up, and reshaping it with the eyes and the thing. It could be a shaila, yeah, of you remodeling, kind of recreating the shape, and that would be also. So when you have a kli, when you have, let's say, a talis that's really crumbled, and you fix it by folding and straightening it very nicely, you may be creating a situation of looking midabonon, doing something similar to mitakin mana. That's a concern of folding garments on Shabbos. Let's see, but the Mishnah did say it's okay. The Mishnah said it's fine. Now the Gemara will tell us the exceptions to the rule and the different prerequisites. Amud Dever Biyanai. They said in Yeshiva of Biyanai, Lo shanu elo be'odam echad. This is only true when one person is doing the folding. When one person's job, not such a great job, because you don't manage to stretch it so much, the Mishnah Berurah says. Yeah, how well? Measure yourself a long tablecloth. You can't do it on your own. So one person's job is a bit shlachi, a bit, sloppy. So that's okay. When two people do the job, yeah, two people do the job. One person stretches and the other one too, and then they fold it nicely together. The folding is better in two. Yeah, it's better with two, as they say. And so I saw again. I think I saw the Mishnah Berurah about this. I don't remember exactly details, but basically, also if you do it on a table or on a safsal, you manage to stretch and have the whole length of it nicely done. You can work with the whole length because you have a big surface. That could also be considered as two people would be also. So one condition is two people folding a talis or a tablecloth, folding it nicely. By the way, the only folding that's also is on the creases, yeah, on the original creases. That's also because that's like fixing it to the, I think, the desired way you always wanted it to be. If it's not that way, I know I always get frustrated. My weak detalis doesn't have clear. I have to take it somewhere. Yeah, doesn't have clear ironed creases. So I never know what's the right way. It comes out sloppy. The right way is to do it the way it was before, and then recreating that nice shape. Apparently, is mtakin mona. It's a chiddush, but that's what it says on Locha. When you have one person, which we do allow it to fold, if it's one guy doing it alone, is okay because it's not so professional, so it's okay. That's only true ela b'chadoshim. If the clothes is new, the garments are new, so it's not so bad. Why? Because even when it's wrinkled, it's not so wrinkled. How wrinkled can it be? But when you have something which is really older, yeah, the chadoshim, the new ones, are still are hard, says Rashi. Ein memarin likmoit. They don't get that wrinkled. An old one is really wrinkled. and you need that extra good folding to bring it back to life, to its original form. It's further away from the original kippur, right? As we know, even today, with all the modern fabrics, yeah, as your pants, you take it to the dry cleaners 1, 3, 4, 5 times. Not the same, right? So you fold it better. That folding is more like tikkun mana. There's more fixing here. That's what I understand it.
Yeah, but say because the older one, because it's
The older ones really get crumpled more.
right,
The more, so it's worse to fold them. The folding is still effective.
because it's going to do more, because it helps improves it more.
Yes. So of course it's more also,
Oh.
obviously. Okay, beseder, no problem. The chadoshim nami, the new ones also, the new garments are only allowed la'amona belevonim. Only the new, so how many conditions we have? Only one person alone folding. Only the old one, right? Not only the new one, excuse me. Only the new ones. And only the white ones. Belevonim. Levonim means that they're not dyed. They retain their original color of the wool. That's okay. Aval kuf yud gimel amud aleph towards the bottom of the page. Aval betzvuim loy. If they're dyed, you're not allowed to fold them. So that I don't know how that would apply today. Back then, the color, the dye was not so stable. You know what I'm saying? So when you fold it, it makes the dye itself stick better to the cloth, to the fabric. That's what the Rishonim say. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's really osir when it's dyed. When it's colored red, green, blue, the color itself doesn't stand it so nicely if it's not nicely folded. That I don't think applies today, basically. But lemaisa halacha is halacha, yeah? So we need three conditions. So when are you allowed to fold your talis? Only when you're one-man job, white and new. White, new, and alone. V'la moron, and even that is only allowed, ela she'en lo lehachlif. If he has no other garment to change, then he should fold it in order to reuse the same one on Shabbos. But if he can change to another garment, then yes. Yeah, interesting. So in other words, yeah, yesh lo lachlif, yachlif, right? If you have another set, another change of clothes on Shabbos, so it's still with all the kulas, right? Chachamim were still machmir, the shouldn't look like metaken. So if you have another set of clothes, another pair of clothes, it's better. Zog the Gemara, Tana, a Braisa, quoting a Braisa, Shal Beis Rabban Gamliel lo yumekaplim klei lovan sheloim. The house of Beis Rabban Gamliel, they were very Yerushalayim people, the Nosi, and they would not fold even their klei lovan sheloim, right? Even a white one is okay because the color, because it's not so affected by the folding. There's no dye that needs to stay in the fabric, but still they were machmir mipnei shohel and lachlif. They were rich. They had two sets of Shabbos clothes, two kapetes, two shtraim. They had enough to change, and therefore they didn't change it. In other words, even with all the conditions, yeah, it's still with the stipulations. It's kedai to, yeah, it's not even allowed. Yeah, if you have another set of clothes, it's better to use the other set and not this one. Okay, so now we learned about Shabbos clothes. Now we're talking about the whole concept of Shabbos clothes. If you're rich enough, says Rashi, the first wide line, in other words, Baruch Hashem, today I hope most people have Shabbos clothes. So change for the Shabbos clothes, those meyuchot for Shabbos, if you need to change your underwear, even your undergarments, is it because you have to have everything new? Or because they have to look new. Nobody sees your undergarment, right? So that's an interesting shaila. Some say everything. Some people have glasses, watches, everything with Shabbos. Yeah. Now that's interesting. If the person doesn't have Shabbos clothes, what should he do? He should unfold and let his garments, let his outer garment, his gown, go down all the way down to the floor. What does that mean? The concept is as follows. Back then, people would wear the long garments. You know, look in all the comic books of the children today. Yeah, they draw people from the times of the Gemara. So they all wear long garments. And here's the raya. However, they would work in the field. When you work in the field, yeah, you can't have your long garments. It's going to drive you crazy. So they would fold it up. So they have like a longer rekel, but they would fold it up, right, and wear it like a kurzer rekel, like a short jacket, because it's more convenient in the field. If you don't have enough money, Khalila, for Shabbos clothes, for Shabbos garments, then you should just let it go, let it loose all the way down to the floor. Why? Because then you look like a rich guy. Rashi says, "Midas ashir miyashvim bebeisam." Right? In other words, you look like a rich guy. because you look like somebody who doesn't have to work in the field. You look like you're working the computer or whatever you work at. You can wear a longer rekel then. So the long. Oh, so here's the source. You see, so some people on Shabbos they wear frock. There you are. Yeah, a frock. You can't work a hard work with a frock. With a jacket, maybe. So frock on Shabbos is the simon of chashivus for Shabbos. Maskif lo Rav Safa v'mischazik Amos Rucha. It looks like gaiva, right? What did we say? Frak is gaiva, right? So it looks like you're bal gaiva. So why does Alocha promote such an idea? You look like you're being arrogant. Talk to Gemara. No, it's not arrogant. Why? Kevin the kol yoyim aloka avid. Every day doesn't do it. He's not a frak guy, really. He's not a guy who wears long, to show I'm like one of these mechuza people. Mechuza people had long dresses, right? In Dafid Beis. Yeah, that you can't tell the mechuza between the clothes of men and women because there were rich mechuzaniks, were very fancy people, Beverly Hills kind of people. Yeah, they would wear long stuff. So, yeah, so it looks like, well, this guy, even though he dresses like a rich guy, he doesn't look rich be'etzem. Why? He doesn't do it throughout the week. Throughout the week, he wears like all the other poyalim. He wears it short. He folds it up and up. Yeah. Va'idno the COVID. Only now he does it on Shabbos. Lo mischazik Amos Rucha. Oh, so if you do something fancy for Shabbos, it's not gaiva. The guy wears a fancy watch when there's an Eruv, yeah, fancy glasses, fancy tie. Covered Shabbos. Covered Shabbos. It says in Halacha, the beginning of the Sifim of Shulchan Aruch, not to wear clothes that are too fancy. It's Halacha. To overdress and look much, more mechubarik than the rest of other people in your status. It's halachically an issue. But on Shabbos, it's different. Because Shabbos is doing it for Kvod Shabbos. Again, I'm not a Pesach Halacha, I'm just giving the general picture. Now we're going to break down, and basically the Gemara will analyze what the Gemara will. Okay, the Gemara will now break down the very, very famous pasuk that tells us, the pasuk from the Novi, that tells us how we have to respect Shabbos, how to behave on Shabbos. Besides Al Mates Malachos, there's more than that. What are you saying? What?
Glasses and the keys and then
Yeah, you have to look fancy. V'chibadeta masas dorochecho. Okay? So it says in the Novi, v'chibadeta masos dorochecho. Right? What does it mean, v'chibadeta masas dorochecho? We're going to quote the rest of the pasuk later. V'chibadetoi. Let's break down the pasuk. What does it mean, v'chibadetoi? You should respect, you should honor Shabbos. What does it mean? Shloi malbushcha shel Shabbos kal malbushcha shel chol. What you wear in Shabbos should not be like what you wear during the week. How do you know that kibadetoi has to do dafka with dress code? Maybe kibadetoi means to eat food. So the Gemara, I'll tell you why. Rabbi Yochanan would define his clothes, his garments, mechabduti, those that respect me. In other words, and Rabbi Yochanan probably got it b'masar from his rabbis or from his own vast Havana in Torah. So basically, if Rabbi Yochanan calls the clothes covered, and the Novi is telling me v'chibadetoi regarding Shabbos, then I know the kibadetoi dafka addresses the dress code. Very nice. That's the first part of the pasuk. Second, me'asois drochecho. Oh, what's asois drochecho? Derech. Master Drochecho, I'm looking for the whole pasuk. It's nice to read the whole pasuk together. This word drives. Oh, this word is not for me. Look at the whole pasuk in the Torah or in the sidebar. Let's see the whole pasuk together. Pasuk in Yeshayahu Nudches. Im toshi mishabes reglecho, osos chafetzecha beyom kodshi. Right? Chafetzecho. Yeah, remove yourself from doing your own chafotzim on my holy day. You have to call Shabbos a day of pleasure. We said chibadetoi, you should dress nicely. We're going to see derech, your gait, the way you walk should be different. Then we're going to have other parts to the pasuk which we're going to explain. Let's see one by one. The Gemara will explain everything. They all have to do with the way you conduct yourself on Shabbos. Continue. Let's go down to the Gemara. So drochecha means kipshuto. The way you walk on Shabbos should not be the same way you walk during the week. Okay, what does that mean? The Gemara will explain later. Now chefzecha doesn't mean your objects or items or muktzeh. Chefetz means what you want, what you wish for. Chayfetz is what you wish, what you, yeah, your will, your rotzon. Chafotzecha asurin chefetz shemayim mutorin. So Rashi says here a big thing. La Rashi before the end of the Amud, lo yitayel odom lostof sedeh b'Shabbos leida meitzricha achar Shabbos, which means chafotzecha, don't do things, even though you're not doing anything physical, you're not doing any of the 39 melachos, you're not moving muktzah, but you're going all the way to your field on Shabbos, and the field definitely needs care. Yeah, that field needs whatever irrigating, v'chole, and plowing. And you're looking, and everybody knows you are the Baal Habais, and you're looking at the field that needs care on Shabbos. You'll do it after Shabbos, but the mere fact that you are looking at your field to know what it needs is also. Yeah, you're looking at a window shop, yeah, and you dafka the window, the pane, and you dafka want to buy those dresses over there, and you're planning and thinking, that's already cheftzach also. Or there's another Easter called hachshocha. Hachshocha means, let's say you want to go to the swimming pool or to the bus stop, which is at the end of the street, and you're going there on Shabbos, waiting for Motzei Shabbos, you daven mincha already, Mariv, whatever later, and you're going lahachshocha, you're going all the way to the end of the tchum or to the end of the city where you're going to board the bus. You have no problem with payment. Somehow you have some kind of payment agreement. But lemaisa, you're going to the bus stop in order to take the bus on Motzei Shabbos. It's also because you're basically going to a place which you will, right? You're doing something that's also on Shabbos. You're planning your whole activity that will take place on Motzei Shabbos. Even walking to the bus stop and waiting there is also, if it's visible that you're doing it for that. Mashal Zalman says if it's raining, you're allowed to be under the, because it looks like if it's with rain. Yeah, Mishabur says if it's not nicker doing it for chol, it's okay. Otherwise, it's not. Okay? So that's chafotzecha. Chafotzecha asurin, chefetz shemayim mutorin. Oh, what's chefetz shemayim mutorin? Says Rashi, poskim tzedakah b'shat chamot yonakis. Let's say I'm allowed to talk to a shadchan or to a mechutan about shidduch money. Money. How can you talk about money on Shabbos? Even to look at things that are money oriented, you shouldn't if it's your own parnos, your own business. But because the shidduch is a mitzvah, it's okay. Or tzedakah. How come they sell the aliyos and Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year? They talk about money. Maftir yoino chveis $100,000. What's going on here? It's mitzvah, right? Yeah, know what I pay. Okay, so that's what that's the cheftzei shamayim that's allowed, right? Even to talk. Now v'daber dovo. What's v'daber dovo? We're now continuing to break the pasuk piece by piece. What does it mean? V'daber dovo. You should speak differently. Shelo diburcha shel Shabbos ki diburcha shel chol. Oh, so Rashi says mekuch memker b'cheshbonos. According to Rashi, cheftecha is to look at the field and see what the field needs. And ledaber dovo is to talk about mekuch memker b'cheshbonos. Your mom is doing business in Shabbos verbally. I'll sell you the car. Nishka Shabbos geret. How much is the car costing? Nishka Shabbos geret. He's selling the car with all the details, with the bituach, the insurance. Nishka Shabbos geret. The whole sale, right? That's speaking. That before it was like looking or thinking. No, not thinking, was looking, walking in order to look at the field. I'm walking all the way dafka to the swimming pool because I know I'm going to go into the swimming pool on Motzei Shabbos. That's also. And dabar dabar is when I talk about it. If you don't like the chiluk, look at Taisvus. Taisvus disagrees with Rashi, and Taisvus says, "Shelo dibucha shel Shabbos dibucha shel chol pirish b'kutas kigon mekoch memkar ve'eni rabbeinu tam." Rabbeinu Tam doesn't accept the difference. He said at the end of the day, means dealing with your own business is also either by walking or planning actively. Soon we'll see that thinking is different. But when your mom stand by your field, or you stand by your cruised car to see what needs to be fixed, and it's visible. For Tosis, it's the same as talking. It's all under the same Isser. Means don't deal with things that are your dealings in business and your money and your guilt. Rashi differentiates between walking and looking and talking. Tosis doesn't accept the difference. Tosis wants a new chat for daber dovo. Tosis, and this is something very, very important for people to know. He's quoting the Medrash. Rav Shimon ben Yochai had a grandmother who used to talk a lot. Rav Shimon ben Yochai, the holiest person, he had a grandma who was a big chatterbox. She was a good booby. Did I say American booby? No. She was like a big talker all the time. Omar lo, Ima, Shabsahu. So he told her, Ima, it's Shabbos. Respectfully, please, it's Shabbos. Shatka, and she kept quiet. Mashma, she'en kol kach ledaber b'Shabbos kmo b'chol. Wow. Bichlal, to talk too much on Shabbos is not allowed. Yerushalmi Amrina, b'torich etir b'shel shalom b'Shabbos. Wow, 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 wow. The Yerushalmi says they hardly allow people to say shalom on Shabbos to each other. What does that mean? Not that in Shabbos you have to have Tanis Dibur, but it does mean the following: that mainly on Shabbos you talk Torah. The main thing on Shabbos to talk Torah is for Shabbos, and Shabbos is for Torah. Not that you shouldn't learn the whole week, yeah, but mainly for Shabbos. Elamai, let's say, says the Shulchan Aruch Mishnah Berurah, if you enjoy talking about Trump and the other, the Rebbitzin, what's her name, whatever, yeah. So she, the other, the whatever, I forgot, Camila. So if you talk a bigger no to talk about the elections, so talk about the elections because you have a no from it. So if you're turning Shabbos, yeah. But let's say yes, and first Mishnah Berurah.
Okay.
As long as it's not whole shtuyot, lashon hara, pritza, something, stam. You like to schmooze about, I don't know, about the tea in China. However, this is very nogea. If you're not enjoying to talk about it, you're only pleasing other people, that's not allowed. Yes, you have a guy who comes to your house and he starts driving you crazy, about, I don't know what, about the elections in America, you don't really care. Or about the tea in China, you don't really care. Kufi Gimel Amud Bet, because the Shalosh Arba Shemot Matchala. That's Asra. Unless you enjoy the fact that he enjoys it. Let's say you tell some children shtuyot, the children like to hear the shtuyot, and they enjoy it, and you enjoy that they enjoy it. Maybe that's allowed. But if you're not enjoying it, if you are, I'm saying this, I had a big nisayon of that in my own life. I almost lost a friend because of that, and I tried to do it very tactfully. If you go to a guy's house and Imam Shok shtuyot, and he wants you to talk to shtuyot, and you're not enjoying it, you're over in Isser Shabbos. Yeah, because you're not supposed to talk chol. You can only talk chol if you enjoy it. You have fun talking about the design of the glasses of the Prime Minister of Iceland. Good. So then Pseder. Not ideal, but okay. Right? Or you enjoy pleasing the other person. But if you don't enjoy that he's pleased, yeah, you're pressurized into that. It talks bad as shkof or things you don't like. Then you shouldn't be there. So don't go to him for Shabbos. I'm saying this is, I'm not inventing it. It's Tosfos, it's Mishnah Berurah. So Lamaisa, Shulchan Aruch says both, my friends. Kufid Gimel Amud Beis, yeah. So Lamaisa, La'alocha, Lamaisa, Asoni. I'm not again a place I'll say for the 15,000th time. But Lamaisa, Shulchan Aruch says both Rashi and Tosfos. Don't talk about Inyoni business, the chlal, business money. I'm going to buy the car. I'm going to buy the new high tech company, and also don't talk too much chol. Unless you enjoy, your wife enjoys, shalom bayis, the children, but don't l'chatchila engage yourself in the burichol. The Tosfos, yeah.
He says his grandmother, she liked to talk. She liked to talk.
No, but he probably no, because she didn't know the halacha. She was a tzedekis. Maybe she didn't know it's osir. So he was mazi her about the Easter. Maybe that's pshat in the grandmother. Efsha. I hear. So, weiter. Okay. Maybe out of respect for her grandson, who was the biggest Talmid Chacham. Maybe
she enjoyed it, but he didn't like it.
He didn't, and she respected. Yeah, weiter. So now, but Hiru Dibu also Hiru Muto. Hiru came to a whole big hornet's nest, and that is you're not allowed to talk in Shabbos business, right? Or stamp too much to it. Hiru is allowed. What does it mean? A hiru l'harer beli bekach v'kach yitzias and etzorch loitzes. Says Rashi, I'm har in my mind, unspoken words that I need to spend so much money for this and that. That's allowed. However, the Shulchan Aruch already says that l'maisa, if you are, it's much better not to be mehar on yonechol of business, right? Why? Because the Medrash says, kilo kol malachto yasuya. You have to, Shabbos mode has to be that everything, all the debts and the stories and the gemachim and thing and people taking you to Beis Din Chalila, all that you have to put behind you, like Kivyochol, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was Shabbos b'machshava, HaKadosh Baruch Hu machshava, right? Kivyochol, so too you have to emulate HaKadosh Baruch Hu on Shabbos, you have to be godly and not think about it. It says Mishnah Berurah, B'Shem B'S Yosef, if, depends what kind of thoughts you're thinking. Let's say a guy says, I have 1 million to buy, it's a big businessman, he's a rich guy. For him, it's fun to think about, the business is going to do. It's enjoyable, He has 100 trillion in the bank, in the running account, and he's fantasizing very nicely on Sunday. I'm going to take 110 million for him. It's not a lot, and I'll buy this company, and it's enjoyable. That's Mela. That's borderline maker. Then it's okay. But if it's worrying him, then for sure he shouldn't. Let's say the guy the guy barely has no money for anything. Oh, how will I buy my Let's take that loan from that gemach in order to buy some milk and bread for my children. That zikr shouldn't think because that's mitzar him. that makes it much worse. Weiter. Frag the Gemara. Ad kan akol tov v'yafeh, all is good. Bishlama, frag the Gemara. We're finished with the brisa. Let's now focus on one thing. Bishlama kulu l'chaye. I understand all the most of the activities mentioned in the brisa. L'chaye is good. I understand it, which means I understand there's different speech on Shabbos and weekdays, or even planning. Ela shelo yeluchacha shel Shabbos ki yeluchacha shel chol mahi. What does it mean? Your gait during Shabbos should be different than your gait on chol. Last time I checked, Baruch Hashem, most people have 2 legs and you walk on 2 legs. What's the difference between the walking in Shabbos and walking in chol? We kind of know the answer because we're brainwashed, because we're frum. But think about it from the Gemara's carte blanche kind of point of view. Yeah, walking is walking. Who cares how I walk? What's the difference? You walk in 2 feet, Baruch Hashem, say thank you to Hashem, you have 2 feet, and that's how you walk. What's the big difference between Shabbos walk and weekday walk? Clothes, I know, everybody, even a guy knows there's fancy clothes and plain clothes, right? But what do you mean different gait, different walking? And for the Gemara, it's not such a simple answer, actually. Answers the Gemara, Ki ad Omar Ravuna Omar Rav, as Ravuna said, B'Shem Rav, Ve'amri le Omar Abba Omar Ravuna, some say, Rav Abba B'Shem Ravuna, Oy Malach B'Shabbos. A person was walking on Shabbos, let's say, Upoga B'Amasamayim. Oh, oops, all of a sudden, he hits upon, in front of him is an Amasamayim, is a canal, like an aqueduct, like a canal of water, river, it's not even a river, it's smaller than a river. It's like a canal of water. So now, you don't want to go in, what do? You jump over. Im yochel aniach es ragel rishoino, kodem sheteoker shniya mutar, v'im lav osur. Let me explain. If that watery area, if the stream is short enough, that you can walk over it without jumping, meaning the front foot is in the front while the back one is still on the ground. That's the definition of walking as opposed to running. Running is when both feet are on the ground at the same time, and walking is one of them is always on the ground. So if one foot is on the ground while the other one still, that's okay. What does it mean it's okay? Then it's even okay to jump. Meaning the Gemara already assumes that jumping is too sporty and not Shabbosdik. We have that pre-notion. The Gemara says, listen, if there's a distance that you want to go get over, skip over, and you could walk it regularly, but you choose to skip it, then it's okay to skip. Because it's not such a big distance, so that's okay on Shabbos. Otherwise, osur. But if you have to jump, in order to cross the divide, cross the river, you have to make a shena jump, you have to be an Olympic guy, you have to jump, then you're not allowed to jump, dafka, because that's a real jump. Jumping is not for Shabbos, it's not, your questions are always so good, Akiva. Frek de Gmore, very nice. Maskif Larove, Hechil Yovid. So what do you want the guy to do? Any other solution would be even worse. Excuse me, I have to get to my Rebbe's house, I have to get to the Shviger's house, the other side of the river, right? What am I supposed to do? Shviger's waiting. You can't mess up with her, right? So what do? You're not allowing me to jump. What will I do? Leikaf, if you want me to start circumventing, go all the way to the beginning of the canal, which could be 3 kilometers away. Kamapish bilucha. He's walking much more. That's not Shabbosdik. To walk too much is not gishmak in the heat for no reason. Why? I could have jumped half a second. It's much easier, and I think more Shabbosdik than walking all the way till the mouth of the river. Li'aver, you want him to actually go into the Avasamayim, to go into the stream, then zimdin mitvasen manimaya. Sometimes, even though it's not a big river, it's just a small creek, but still, sometimes his clothes, because it's mitvasan, we had it in 9 here with base, mitvasan, they get wet. His clothes would get wet, long garments will get wet, and he'll come to do what? To squeeze them, to wring them, to squeeze them. He's not squeezing them now, but he very likely would come to. He's on his way somewhere, so then, thank you very much, right? So all other solutions are even worse. Ela, first wide line. Beha, in this case, where he has no other solution but jumping, because you're right, Akiva, no other solution is good. To walk far away, if you can walk, 2, 3 meters, okay, but to start walking far is not a solution. To walk into the water, we don't recommend on Shabbos. So in this case, Beha, because there is no other way but jumping, so in this case you should jump. Mashma says I think Biralocha, I don't remember who says what, somewhere the Mishnah Berurah says, Biralocha, Mishnah Berurah, he says, that case it's okay to jump. We're also scared he's going to fall, so do the jump. Masha'enkin, otherwise you shouldn't jump on Shabbos. Stamazoi to do sports on Shabbos, which is not allowed. Maybe doctors, some people do stretches. I'm saying I'm not a poisek, as I said about 500 times. But lemaisa, to stop jump on Shabbos or skip, children, seder, but stop for adults, is not the time for starting to skip and jump. Ela, but I don't know, the Gemara is still looking for another pshat. I don't know the flow of the Gemara, because according to the Diuk, we already have an answer. The Gemara is still looking for another pshat. What does it mean, Luchach Shabbos versus Luchach Shalchol? Yeah, we're still looking for pshat. Even though I think we found pshat.
Why?
No, we said, in this case, when you have a river and you can't, there's no other way, as Akiva said, then what do? You have to jump. Mashma, otherwise you're not allowed to jump. So we found already something you're not allowed to do on Shabbos, and still the Gemara is looking. I'm honestly, there's a shaila here how to read the Gemara. I'm just a good boy, I followed Mishnah Berurah. But Lamaisa, the Gemara is Kilu Betzim saying two answers. Ela, what's the pshat? What is the pshat of Hiluch Shabbos versus Hiluch Chol? Are you allowed to walk, to take big steps, big strides on Shabbos? Says Rashi at the last wide line, as we said, Psia Benonis is a distance, a stride of 1 amma, half a meter. That's quite long, but more than an amma. Let's say you're not jumping, you're not skipping, which is already, we decided is osir. You're walking long strides, long steps. Is that allowed or not? Psia gasa, like a big psia, big stride of an amma each time, a bit more than an amma. That's like over half, 40 something centimeters, depends, about half a meter. So is that allowed or not? Omerle, that's a shayla. What?
I don't know.
Half a meter, you could walk half a meter. Yeah. For a long time. A guy's in a real rush. He knows he shouldn't run on Shabbos. And he takes long strides, he has long legs. Yeah. Technically, halachically, that allowed. Amarle, so Rabbi Yossi answered, "V'chibichol mihutra." Is that allowed even during the week? Even during the week, it's a problem of sakana. Shani oimer, because I'm telling you, psiagasa nutela sechet b'chmeshmos memorin of shalodom. Wow, a psiagasa, long strides, they take away one 500th part, one of 500 parts from or ein of shalodom, from the vision of the person. So Tosfos in Tainis asks, if you walk 500 big steps, you're going to be chas v'sholom blind. Says Tosfos, no, it's only the first steps, because kolat cholos koshes. Later you get used to it. Kevin the dash, Kevin dash barabim. But the beginning may harm the chas v'sholom the eyesight. The beginning of the long stride, this brisk walking. And by the way, the Gemara doesn't need maskoma, but I personally know, because I had issues myself, the retina, people who have the sensitive retina are not allowed to go on, and not allowed to make too brisk movements, because it can tear the retina, rishtit. Or to go on the real crazy rides in the amusement park, no. So I'm saying brisk walking or something that's too active for the body, if your retina is a sensitive type, don't do that. I'm talking from experience. So I'm revealing a lot about myself today. Basically, so what's the story? So anyhow, you're not allowed to walk briskly because it's going to take 1/500. Wow. The Kiddush of Shabbos, Leil Shabbos, right? When you make the Kiddush, either drinking or, according to some Rishonim, putting it on the eyes. Remember what we said at the beginning of Shemona Shotzim? We said that Yain Ba'ain is healthy. Wine, for the Abraham Kanevsky said it to me myself, to put wine of the Havdalah, I think he said, a wine in general, he told me, to put wine in the eye is good even today. Wine is healthy for the eyes. Why Dafka Kiddush? The chus of the mitzvah. Then I saw a very, very nice pshat. I don't know if it's emes or just a nice vote. You want to hear something nice? That a person who walks and walks and walks too quickly, what does it mean to lose the eyesight? You lose the perspective of what life is all about. You're rushing, work, work, work. What are you working for? When do you get it back? When do you gain back the right perspective of Kiddush of Shabbos? You sit down with your family and you have Kiddush. What's Kiddush? To sanctify the upcoming day. When I'm sitting in Mekadesh, now we know, I'm working, I'm living. That's the purpose, to be spiritual. And therefore, the Moreh Naim, the right perspective, the right spiritual eyesight is back. I think it's a very nice shot. I saw it in one of the modern day Rabbanim. I like it very much. Whatever. Maybe there's earlier sources. In any event, the question is, he's basically telling him, you're asking me why, if it's allowed or not allowed to walk on Shabbos briskly, even during the week, it's a sakana. And now the Gemara is starting a new issue. Halacha l'maisa, yes, it's osir, which means during the week to walk too fast is unhealthy for your eyesight as midin sakana. And echanami, maybe if you're used to it, it's not a problem. Yeah, shy. After a few times, it's already okay. On Shabbos, it's an issur. He never told him that it's okay on Shabbos. He said, their topic, it's anyhow sakana. But on Shabbos, it could also be an issue of issur of, you're not mechabet Shabbos, you shouldn't walk too fast. Where are you rushing to? That's also a point of the using the bike. People say, why aren't you allowed to use bike on Shabbos? That's so simple. Why? What's wrong with bike on Shabbos? So Rav Charish said a very true thing. Bike is either for sport or to get somewhere very far. Sports on Shabbos is not allowed. It's low from jumping up and down and getting far. Where are you driving so far on Shabbos? You're not meant to go out of the tchum. So it's not Shabbos dik. The essence of bike is something that's contradictory to Shabbos. Although this is not so bad, but it's still also Neser b'dachronim because it's against the mahus of Shabbos. That's an interesting agdar. Bo minei Rebbe Rabbi Shmuel Bar Yosi. Ma lechol adoma b'Shabbos. Are you allowed to eat earth, to eat dirt from the ground on Shabbos? What does it mean? So believe it or not, but because the ground, certain types of ground of earth, they have good minerals, and it was considered to be healthy. It was like a refuah medication to eat. Not any ground. Certain types of ground were considered to be healthful from the Adama. Yeah, not any time. Maybe the red one. Rashi says titnoki, clear mud. Yeah, so maybe the question is now: is that considered a refuah? If it's refuah, you're not allowed to take it on Shabbos. Are you allowed to take, Tylenol on Shabbos unless your head is pounding and you can't function? No, right? L'chatchila, no. So if that's your Tylenol, the earth, it's not allowed. Or maybe it is allowed because healthy people do it too for extra health. Is that officially called a medication also on Shabbos? Maybe it's not a real medication, something nice and healthy. Maybe it's okay. Similar answer to what he said before. Even during the week, it's also. I'm telling you, even during the week, you're not allowed to eat sand or whatever, the earth, because it's malka, it's unhealthy, maybe even though it may make you feel good now, but eventually there's a side effect. With all due respect to modern medicine, that's true about many, many, many modern medicines. Yeah, the medication is good for the eyes, but bad for the liver. I'm saying whatever it's and therefore you shouldn't take it bichlal. Omar bi'ami, you have one more minute, or I davened already. Omar bi'ami, kol ochel me'efer shel Bovel, ki lo ochel mibsar avoisov. Gu. In other words, if you eat from the earth of Bovel, because you follow the medical advice of the doctors there to eat the Bovel, you're eating the flesh of your fathers, of your Jewish, say the Rishonim, forefathers, because they're buried in Bavel. And maybe a shtickle flesh from the Zayda is what you're eating. Why Dafka Bavel? Why not Eretz Yisrael? In Eretz Yisrael, it's Yadua always. In many, many places it says, they used to bury much more, in much better way, halachically. Everything was mitzuyan, was marked in a cemetery. In Bavel, because of the Goyim, probably didn't allow them, the Kuvura was not as misudar as in Eretz Yisrael. So you may be eating a human being's piece of human, yeah. The Sheikh in Eretz Yisrael, we know this is a cemetery and this is not a cemetery, and therefore in Eretz Yisrael it's not dangerous to eat from the ground. Interesting. Some say even worse. It's as if you're eating bugs. Why eating bugs when you eat the offer of Bavel? From the time of the Mabul. The Mabul, Bavel was the is a valley. Bavel is the plain is a deep, profound, it's a low kind of place. And when a Kodesh Baruch Hu got all the, I'll read the next part, almost like Lamnikash Mashina. Why is Bavel called Shina? Shekol Meisi Mabel Nina Ulasham. All the dead people from the Mabel, they were all shook, they were all shaken and taken into there. They all ended up there, buried there in Bavel, in Iraq. In other words, it's called Mitzula because all the people, all the dead people of the Mabul, like you do spanja, they're all trained into the ground of Babel, of Iraq. And what? And that's why if you eat that, you may be eating Yivishkotzim Eromosim. Yeah. Frag the Gemara v'shomim ki lo choshkotzim u'mosim avadat tmichu yitmachu. Right? It's for sure the shkotzim u'mosim are not real. They've been already diluted there. They've been already all meshed up. It's the Gemara Kevin the Malki godel be'rabonon because it's unhealthy to eat the ground regardless of the shkotzim. Rabbanon defined it as if you eat shkotzim because they want people to be careful not to eat the ground at all. So they said if you eat the ground, it's as if you eat shkotzim. They want to scare you off. There was a man who ate some of this considerably, that was considered to be healthy earth. He ate some teshachlaim. He ate that ground. You know what happened? There were seeds in the earth that he ate, and it grew inside his stomach. The flower grew in the stomach of the person, and he touched his heart, and he died. Wow. Unbelievable. Like you have worms that can live inside. I guess there are tzmochim who can live inside the body. And that's what happens. I want to finish with something nice. So I'll just tell you that the next year, maybe Cholamoid, maybe after, we're going to learn very nice things about Rus Amavia. That's the next topic. Next topic is going to be Ruth, whichever you want to call her. That's going to be the next thing. Atzlocha uvrocha. It's to do with Sukkot, because Sukkot is Kohen. It's written by grandson, great grandson. She merited to live and sit next to Shlomo by the end of his life. She had very, very, very long life, Ruth. We to long life and Yeshua Hashem Kirafayim. Slocha Brocha. Thank you very, very much. Thank you for fighting the war. Shachlaim is a type of flower, not flower, is a kind of plant that looks like a woman's ovaries. It's a shachlaim, like shachalot. Thank you very much. Koyach.